Good morning, g'day, good afternoon. It's Roger Roadside here with another video saying hello. What's happening here? Why are people just parked in the middle of the road? Oh no, they're not parked. They're actually waiting to go. There you go. Listen, this is a very. I'll make this a quick one. I'll make it a quick one. I promise. I've been holding off on this for a little while because I just wanted to see the dust settle a little bit and see what the situation is. For anyone who's watched any of my previous videos, you'll know that I've said all along I am a voter awaiting a government to take advantage of and convince me to vote for them. I have no allegiance at the moment. If you haven't watched any of my previous videos, why? And make sure you subscribe, because that will obviously help me out and it'll keep you in check to watch every bloody video that we do. But listen, I wanted to touch base about Restore Britain. Rupert Lowe obviously he came out last week, announced that he was launching his party, launched it from a farm, which I thought was actually a nice touch. It was down to earth. It was salt of the earth sort of stuff. So I get it. I get it. But I didn't want to address it straight away because it's difficult for me because I voted Labour last time, and I'll tell you why. Having been here for over 10 years or so, the majority of my stay over here has been under a Tory government, and if I'm brutally honest with you, I had just seen the UK, aka London, aka all of it, decline. In a state of decline. When I first came over here 12 odd years ago, it wasn't perfect, but it wasn't half as bad as what it is at the moment. And I know certain things are because of that. COVID and stuff didn't help, obviously. But anyway, long story short, in the last election, I felt like there was only really, if you didn't want to vote Tories, there was only really one logical vote to play, and that was to vote in Labour. So, I felt like it was the only direction to go if you wanted change. However, at the moment, it is looking like there are going to be some serious contenders for votes in the next coming election in a couple of years. That being the Greens, even though I don't agree with anything that they do, Reform, and now also potentially Restore Britain. So, look, I don't know how it's going to play out in regards to, I know that there's instances where government, political parties will, give their votes to other parties, they'll join up and all this sort of stuff. I think that the Tories have made some ground back, but I don't, for as good as what she potentially is, I don't mind Kemi Badenoch. I think she's done well, but I also feel as though I could have done well against Sir Keir Starmer, the original Dalek from Doctor Who. So, in some respects, I almost feel like Kemi Badenoch had a bit of a free shot with Starmer, because he's just been absolutely terrible, and everything he said, the whole reason, part of the reason why I voted for him was, I got the impression that he was an adult and that he was going to bring a new style of, mature way of looking at how to actually run a country, and less drama, more just getting things done, and that's what I really bought into. Whereas the reality is, and has been, that they're just as bad as the Tories. And look, it just highlights the fact that, for me personally, I'll be honest with you, I don't rate any politician, if I'm brutally honest with you. I think they're all as bad as each other. I don't care what party they're from. I think they're all as bad as each other. I think they all, they may go into politics with the best intentions whatsoever, but I think as soon as you're there, or as soon as you get up to the point where you are in a party that's potentially going for leadership, I think by that stage you've already sold out, and you've already done things that you wish you probably hadn't done, and you're serving people who are either investing in you, funding you, or you're helping out your mates or your relatives or this, that and the other. And I don't know, for me, they need to scrap the whole political system and governmental system and come up with something brand new, because this shit hasn't been working for the last couple hundred odd years. So but anyway, that's the story for another time. But anyway, Rupert Lowe, Restore Britain. Now, you've all seen what they've come out and said, and I'm not going to go over old ground here. There are some aspects of what he said that I like. There are some aspects of what he said that, like many others, you immediately pose the question, yeah, but how are you going to do that? And look, I'm not one of those people that will jump straight out the traps and go, you want to deport a million people. Well, how the hell are you going to do that? I think that you've got a couple of years to figure out how it is you're actually going to do that, and B, I appreciate that you're launching a party. So when you're launching a party, you're just going to give an overview of the certain things that you stand for. You're not necessarily going to take 4 or 5 hours to go through every intricate detail. So I get that. So yeah, the long and short of it is, there were some things that I really did agree with, and but in saying that, there were some things that I agreed with when it came to reform as well. And there are aspects of reform that I like. There are also aspects that I don't necessarily like, and it's really difficult. So I am keen to see more information come from Restore. I'm keen to see what their policies are going to end up being. But I just wanted to make a video just to get your thoughts on it, because it has been a week now, or a little bit over a week, and my review of the launch of Restore is that I don't know. I kind of think like that they've done a good job with the launch. I kind of think that, in a nutshell, I like some, if not most, of the messaging that they're saying. I believe we need to really focus on ourselves. We really need to focus on Britain. I think Britain is broken. And I think for as much as you want to hide behind, lefty slogans like diversity is our strength and all sort of stuff, for someone who drives around the country on a daily basis and sees the people and sees, there are some parts of North London that I could walk around in, and you would just not feel as though you're in England. You'd probably not hear an English conversation. Now, is that, that's not the be all and end all of whether or not your country's in good shape, but it's just one of the aspects of how far this country has gone in allowing everyone and anyone over here. And I know that that's hypocritical because I'm Australian, but there's a difference between those. There's a vast yes, I'm Australian, I've got an accent, but for all intents and purposes, I have worked every day since being over here. Obviously most days. Obviously I haven't worked 7 days a week for 12 years, but I've got similar beliefs, I've got similar foundations, all that sort of jazz, yada, yada, yada. You know what I mean, right? There's a difference between people that come over here and that do dodgy shit, or they just, they go, oh, where's all the rest of my culture buying houses or living? I'm going to go and buy a house or live there. Oh, what cash in hand work can I do? Oh, I'll stand in front of this convenience store at 8 o'clock every morning, and someone will come up and pick me up, and I'll do some cash in hand work, yada, 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 so on and so forth. You know what I mean? There's some dodgy shit that goes on. And I think that is really just a byplay of the fact of the limited opportunities within the country. This country has the infrastructure to support the growing British population. Okay, the British population has somewhat started to dwindle. However, the influx and the sheer volume of people from all other countries coming in and settling over here is 10 times that. So, like, I understand why they need to do shady shit, because most of them can't speak. Most people that come over here, that settle over here, that aren't from Western countries, don't necessarily have a great grasp of English. So therefore, that cuts them out of a lot of work. So they have to do dodgy shit. So I get that. But that's just an example of how bad or how crowded the situation is when you've got that many people where you can physically see that they're doing shady stuff. But anyway, look, Restore Britain. Do you think it's a party that has got a hope in hell of getting any votes come the next election? Are you still on the bandwagon of Labour? Are you on the bandwagon of Reform still? You know, where are you? Okay, it's probably not the right thing to do to say exactly where you're going to vote, but which parties, you know, are attracting you? You know, what sort of direction are you thinking? Are you thinking Greens? Are you talking about, you know, making porn legal? You know, making all sort of porn legal? Yeah, that's great. And then, you know, let's legalise all the drugs. Fuck it, let's legalise all the drugs. Fucking hard rock and drugs and, you know, whatever you want, you've got. You know, if you're a migrant, yeah, come over here, we'll buy you a house. You know, we'll give you a house, we'll give you some money. You don't even have to work. We'll just do everything for you, really. Just absolute ludicrous Green Party. The Green Party are just a pile of absolute shithousery, really. If we're being honest, no one can surely take the Green Party seriously. Surely not. But you know what the funny thing is? The funny thing is they're actually gaining bloody popularity. How is that possible? How is that bloody possible when you've got someone sitting in a living room that looks like it's circa 1975, you know, being the leader of the Green Party whilst you sat next to a flipping heater that would chew about 14 bloody, I don't know, gas farms or electricity pumps. I don't know what the... I know it's an old bloody heater. And you're not spouting anything about the bloody environment. You're talking about, we need to be borderless and, British people, we've done terrible things in the past, so we need to be sorrowful and we need to help everyone that comes over here. And if any people come over here and they haven't got a place to live, we need to give them a house. And if they have, you know, how can we expect them to work? They've just spent all their time coming over in a rubber boat, so therefore we need to just give them endless amounts of money, allowances every day of the week. I don't know, just absolute pile of poo for me. So for me, the Greens, no. But Restore, I don't know. I'm eagerly awaiting, you know, the next few months and for them to sort of come out and give a little bit more information in regards to what it is that they can do for the country, or what they plan to do for the country. But anyway, that's my thoughts thus far on Restore Britain. What are your thoughts? Please make sure you get them in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, it really helps me out. Make sure that you like and subscribe the video, that would be very helpful. I was just trying to see if I could park there, but then I got chickened out because there's so much bloody traffic around. But yeah, listen, love you guys. This is Roger Roadside saying ciao for now. Goodbye.